Good evening and welcome to Gay Newsbreak. I'm John Beebe.
And I'm Dorinda Boswell.
We want to wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving. In the wake of the slaying of Matthew Shepard, a young homosexual man from Wyoming, there have been numerous calls to expand hate crimes legislation to protect gays and lesbians. We have reported on many of these. However, not everyone agrees. Tonight we bring you two alternative viewpoints, one from a letter to the editor and the other from an editorial. The following is a letter to the editor in the November 15th Sunday Oklahoman entitled, What's a Hate Crime? I have a hard time with so-called hate crimes legislation. Nothing illustrates the dilemma more than the slaying of Dr. Barnett Slepian, the abortion doctor. I don't see how anyone who is anti-abortion could justify the slaying of a fellow human. Equally, I don't see how a doctor could take the life of a fellow human regardless of the chronological status of that being. The term hate crime and the ensuing politically correct legislation are simply justifications for federal intrusion into crimes which are constitutionally the jurisdiction of the state in which they occurred. And that was by Bernard Bryant of Altus, Oklahoma.
Well, the ACLU of Oklahoma presented their annual awards at the ceremony in Oklahoma City last Saturday, November 21st. There were 6 recipients of these various awards. The Angie Debo Civil Liberation of the Year Award was given to attorney Garia Isaacs for his role in the release of an Oklahoma death row inmate. The Anti-Death Penalty Prison Project Award was presented to Bud Welch for his efforts to abolish the death penalty. 2 popular heroes in our community, Terry Gatewood with the Cimarron Alliance Group and attorney Peggy Johnson, both received the Human Rights Project Award for promoting equal rights for the gays and lesbians. Director of Reproductive Services of Tulsa, Sherry Finnick, received the Reproductive Freedom Project Award for her work in clinics, counseling, and adoption services. And Phil Bacharach, a reporter for the Oklahoma Gazette, received the Fran Morris Civil Liberties Award and Media Award for his stories on the Kenneth Trenadu case. John?
December 1st is World AIDS Day. One way to commemorate the day is to dine out for change. People are encouraged to dine out with their families at one of several Oklahoma City restaurants, which are making a contribution of 10% of their sales on that evening to benefit the Oklahoma City AIDS Support Program. The restaurants are Bellini's, Bricktown Brewery, Cheever's, Classen Grill, The Coach House, Deep Fork Grill, Earl's, Flips, Gopurum, Grateful Bean Cafe, Harvey House, Hideaway Pizza, Iguana Lounge, Camps, La Baguette, Leslie's Painted Desert, Mango, The Metro, Millennium, Papadillo's, Pearls, Sushi Nico, Terra Luna Grill, Tommy's, Varsity Bricktown, Varsity South Meridian, that's on the South Meridian location, VZD's, and Windy City Pizza. Now please patronize these businesses and restaurants on December the 1st and give the gift of love. Dorinda?
That'd be great. The Pride Gay Center in Tulsa comes out in a big way with a new sign. After being a building and meeting a place with no sign for 2 years, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Human Rights Group decided to provide the center with a new sign, Gay Community Center and Pride Store. The Tulsa, Oklahoma Human Rights Group says that the sign not only inspires pride in the gay community, but support in the center itself. John?
And now we have another alternative viewpoint on hate crimes. The following is an editorial from the November 15th Sunday Oklahoman entitled, Where's the Outrage Now? Police say a black man put a bullet through the head of an Asian woman who was simply minding the store on November 9th. Tung Than Tran was helping her brother-in-law at a convenience store on Indiana Avenue in Oklahoma City when the gunman entered. She didn't work there. She was just helping the relative while he went to the bank. Tung Tran was a member of the 12,000-person Vietnamese community in Oklahoma City. Her death, particularly the way in which it came, left the community in shock.
Well, the apparent motive was robbery, was the same as it was in the case of Matthew Shepard, the Wyoming homosexual who was savagely killed this fall. To our knowledge, President Clinton has not sent his condolences to Tung Tran's family or the Vietnamese community in the wake of her murder. He did not dispatch 2 high-ranking administration officials to attend her funeral. There have been no marches around the nation to protest her death, no candlelight vigils at the state capitol. Attorney General Drew Edmondson has not called for the new state legislation designed to protect Asian women like Tung Tran. Perhaps this will change in the days ahead. We cannot say that Tung Tran was an unsung victim. Those who knew her and the entire Asian American community here were profoundly moved by her death. Many beyond that community shared their grief, and the family has expressed its gratitude for many expressions of solidarity. But the fact remains that Tung Tran was the victim of an interracial murder. She was a woman and an Asian. She was an immigrant, a Buddhist, and a woman of peace. She was minding her own business and that of her brother-in-law when her killer entered and exited her life with a flash of gunfire. Hate crime? As always, Gay Newsbreak invites your comments on our talkback line, 525-5770. That is 525-5770.
Stay with us and we'll be right back with the national and world news.
I love to work out. I like my body to be perfect. That's because I lead an active social life. I want to look good, but no matter what shape you're in, anyone can get the AIDS virus. And one workout that can protect you from the AIDS virus is not to take risks when it comes to sex.
Find out what kind of behavior puts you at risk. Call your local AIDS hotline or 1-800-342-AIDS.
In Argentina, the city of Rosario is looking for a new police chief. Captain Benedicto Matia resigned after he was chastised by local officials for comments he made during a radio interview. During the interview, he called gay men masked AIDS carriers and said they should be forcibly relocated to a city of their own. But Matia didn't just stop with gay men. He also included drug addicts, corrupt politicians, and bad news reporters among those who should be removed from the city.
Also in Argentina, 2 separate bar raids in Buenos Aires ended up with one of those raids being shown on TV. 70 people were arrested for violation of the games and prevention law for playing, of all things, bingo. And the prize was only a bottle of champagne. 4 TV channels aired footage of the raid, including the faces of those being arrested. One of the channels, titled the segment Sex Bingo, claimed the prize was sexual favors, not champagne. A week later, 40 people were caught in another raid after being detained for several hours. They were released without charges. The bar has been closed since the incident, and there has been no word yet why it was raided.
Oh, my. In Australia, new census information shows there are more than 20,000 gay men who are living together as couples. Of these, the majority are white-collar workers with a post-secondary education. The information showed that gay men outnumbered non-gay men as managers or professionals among those in the 30 to 34 age group. The census did not indicate the sexual orientation of single men. A spokesperson for the Sydney gay community said if single gay men had been noted, it would have shown just how large the gay community really is.
Well, stay with us and we'll be right back with Inside Out.
It would be nice if latex condoms were automatic. But since they're not, using them should be. Simply because a latex condom used consistently and correctly will prevent the spread of HIV.
He says he's a faggot. You have to fix this problem.
I don't think being gay is something we can fix.
Perverted. I don't want him in our house.
He's only 17. Where will he go? But he's our son.
He's not my son anymore. Not my son. Not my son. Not my son. Not my son.
Welcome to Inside Out, and our guest this evening is Sonia Martinez. Sonia, welcome.
Thank you.
It's been a while. We've been trying to get you on here for quite a while, and it's nice to have you with us tonight.
It's nice to be here, John.
We have a fundraiser coming up that you do annually every year. It's the 8th annual Loaves and Fishes benefit.
Yes.
And if you could start out by telling the people out there what exactly the Loaves and Fishes benefit is and all about, what it's all about.
Well, it's Meals on Wheels, and they go around to people with AIDS and deliver food, make sure that everything's fine with them at home, take them to the doctor if they need to go to the doctor.
Now, you've been doing this 8 years now. This will be the 8th year.
This will be the 8th year.
How did you get the idea for putting a show together like this?
Well, I have a friend, Barbara Cooper, who was founder of the Red Tie. And we were talking one day, and I told her I would like to do something like this, but on a smaller scale.
Right.
And give a place for the gay people to go to that can't really afford to go to the Red Tie. But I wanted it to be an intimate evening with good entertainment and dinner.
Now, if you would describe for us, those who will be coming for the first time, what they can expect to see when they come in to the COPA.
Elegance, ready for the holiday, a good time, people who they probably haven't seen in years. And people come out once a year for this.
And the benefit's going to be on Monday, November the 30th.
Yes.
And the dinner will be a dinner buffet, I understand.
This year it's going to be a dinner buffet. Last year, because it is getting larger, they had a little trouble getting everybody their meals before the show.
Okay, and that's going to start promptly at 7, and then the show, the entertainment, will be at 8 o'clock. And who do you have on the show?
Well, I have a wonderful young lady who in 1991 started this with me, Miss Deb Roberts. We call her our country sweetheart.
She's wonderful.
She's wonderful, and she's one of the owners of a very popular club called Partners.
Right.
So she will be with us, and then I have a very handsome young man who's been with me since 1995. And you're Mr. John Beebe.
That was like a leading question. I couldn't have timed that any better, right?
Right.
I want to ask a question, because you've been an entertainer in the community for a long time, and you've done a lot for the community. How did you get your start entertaining in the community, and why did you start to entertain?
It started, I went to a girls' club, and it was called the Nightlife at the time. And I ended up doing a show there one night, and I was going to Tony's bar on Western.
On Northwestern.
On Northwestern.
I remember it well.
That far back. And I had told Tony that I had did a show for the girls, and he said, "Wonderful, darling." He said, "I will see you Friday at our show." And I've been doing shows ever since.
That's fantastic. Now, you've raised a lot of money for Loaves and Fishes, and if you might want to tell the people out there who is really in charge of this and who helps you out with this, as far as on the Loaves and Fishes side. I believe it's Sister
Gail.
Sister Gail Addis.
Yes, I think she's the one that organizes, making sure people who volunteer, the people who do the real work.
Yeah.
These are people who go out, and she puts it all together.
She does a great job of that.
She does a wonderful job.
Absolutely.
She does things that would be hard for other people to do, I think.
And, this will be my 3rd year with you, and it seems like our attendance keeps growing every year.
It's getting bigger and bigger.
Now, when you started out, where was it?
We started out at the restaurant.
The Gushers restaurant.
Gushers restaurant. We started out there, and the 2nd year I did it there. After that, it was starting to get, people couldn't get in, and so we moved it over into COPA and turned it into a dinner restaurant.
What kind of money compared to back then to what you've been raising up to the last year? I know you can't give me an exact dollar figure.
The first year I did, we made about $300. Mm-hmm. And then last year it was $1,970, and that's probably not real accurate because some stuff came in to Sister
That's the
Gail.
wonderful thing about this is after it's over with, and even before, people just start sending in checks.
Yes,
They keep
yes,
giving.
they do.
Real quick, we're running out of time. I want to get to some people who you want to thank to help make this possible for you.
Well, number one, I would like to thank Lee Burris. He's hosted this benefit for me for 8 years, and he's wonderful. And I'm going to read because I don't want to forget anybody. And the staff of the COPA and Gushers, and the entertainers, you and all the other entertainers I've had in the past, their time and talents. Sister Gail for her vision. And in the past, Tony Foss Flowers has donated flowers. And this year we have a young man named Rick Moses.
Wonderful.
Who's doing the flowers, who does the red tie flowers for them. So I'm real excited about that. And the community, most important, for all of your support because you're always there for me. But, and I'd like to thank my family and the woman behind me who holds me together is Miss Dee Goodwin.
Fantastic.
And I would like to thank the Gazette for putting our ad in the paper this year.
They have an ad on page 5.
Yes,
so
and the Gailey.
and that came out yesterday, and the ad in the Gailey is out as well. So please pick those publications up, look at them. Again, the fundraiser will be on Monday, November 30th. The dinner is a buffet. It starts at 7 p.m. The show starts at 8 p.m. Deb Roberts, myself, Sonia Martinez will be there to entertain you, and we really look forward to seeing you. Stay with us, and we'll be right back. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you.
They fired her?
Yes.
But that isn't fair.
No, it isn't.
It isn't legal.
Yes, it is.
In 41 of our 50 states, a person can be fired just for being lesbian, gay, or bisexual with no legal recourse. Most Americans don't know that.
Betty?
Is there anything we can do?
Call the Human Rights Campaign toll-free at 1-888-4HRC-1997. Anti-gay job discrimination drives us apart. Americans want solutions that bring us together.
Welcome back. And now Desmond has some health news for us. Desmond?
Thanks, Dorinda. Good evening. Beginning January 1st, Texas law will require healthcare providers to report the names of all known HIV-infected individuals. Proponents of the law say the new system of reporting HIV cases will allow for better tracking of the disease, indicating that only 25% of the total number of HIV cases have been reported under the old system. However, many AIDS activists argue that name-based reporting will keep some individuals from being tested. Texas currently uses a number identifier system for disease surveillance. 1 out of 10 adults will develop peptic ulcer disease during their lifetime. Once a lifelong condition primarily affecting men, the CDC now says that women, as well as men, generally develop symptoms around age 35. About 500,000 new cases of peptic ulcer disease are diagnosed in the U.S. each year. Half of those will be women. The good news is that most ulcers are caused by a bacterium called H. pylori, and that over 90% of the ulcers caused by the bug can be effectively treated with antibiotics. A survey of more than 2,300 gay men and lesbians recently conducted by the National Gay and Lesbian Health Association revealed that most are not concerned about sexually transmitted diseases, in spite of figures showing that some STDs have risen over 70% in recent years. About 25% of gay men and around 42% of lesbians never discuss STDs with their doctors. The study also revealed that only 1/3 are routinely screened for STDs, and less than 1/2 receive hepatitis vaccinations. A study designed by the American Medical Association paints us a picture of how well we are or are not taking care of ourselves. More than 8 in 10 of us visited the doctor this past year, while 64% visited the dentist. A majority of women had a mammogram, and 9 in 10 have had a Pap test. And here's something to think about, especially today, or maybe not. 1 out of 4 changed our diet to lower our blood cholesterol, and 7 out of 10 actually had our cholesterol checked. And how sexually responsible are we? Well, 44% of those who had multiple sex partners this past year did not practice safer sex the last time they had intercourse, and about 4 in 10 adults have been tested for HIV, with 31% being checked for other STDs. However, most of us are satisfied with the quality of our sex life, but that satisfaction dramatically decreases by the age of 65, or so the study says. And that wraps it up for your health news. I hope you've had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Have a great week. John, Dorinda, back to you.
So the sex life is supposed to really almost stop at 65. I think there's a lot of people over 65 that would argue that.
Oh, well, I hope so. And I hope it doesn't.
I hope not either. That would be concerning. Are you going to come to the fundraiser that Sonia will be having on Monday?
Oh, we can't wait. We've already got a table reserved for 15. We're down on the floor.
Hey, all right.
We are very excited.
Well, it's all for a good cause, and I really think it's going to be a fun show. We've had so much fun doing it, and this will be, of course, my 3rd year. I'm always honored when I'm asked to come back because we all have a great show and a good time.
Last year was my first time to see the show, and I remember you, and you were just wonderful.
Well, you're very nice.
First time I'd ever heard you.
We need to do something together sometime.
Well, I think we will.
That'd be fun. I think we'd have a good time doing something like that. We hope all of you can come. Again, it's going to be on Monday, November 30th. 7 o'clock will be the buffet dinner, and then 8 o'clock will be the show. And I believe we have Chuck Jones up with our entertainment news. Chuck, what do you have for us tonight?
Thanks, John. Well, in our entertainment news tonight, after a year of appearing with and speaking out for her gay daughter, Chastity, Cher has a smash hit with her new single, Believe, which has already sold 1 million copies in England and was released in America last week. Cher has also agreed to sing the national anthem during next year's Super Bowl in Miami. Cher was quoted to have said, when asked about her new success, "Am I the comeback kid or what?" And Chicago Bulls star Dennis Rodman, known for his outrageous cross-dressing wardrobe, recently wed Baywatch beauty Carmen Electra. I'm a little more than curious, though, to see the wedding pictures. I'm wondering just which one of them wore the wedding dress. There could already be trouble brewing for the newlyweds, however. It appears that Rodman's agent, Dwight Manley, no pun intended, is insisting that the marriage isn't legal. Manley claims that during the Las Vegas ceremony, Rodman was, quote, deeply intoxicated, unquote, and that he was taken advantage of. Someone taking advantage of a 7-foot-something basketball player. Perhaps Carmen had a hold of one of Rodman's piercings and drug him down the aisle. I'm not sure about that one. And finally, it looks like Disney has added another gay man to the payroll. Don't the Baptists have enough to do already with all the boycotting and everything? Well, Chris Pula, one of the highest profile gay film executives in Hollywood, has been hired as Buena Vista's president of marketing. Last year, Pula abruptly left his post as Warner Brothers marketing chief, and last month it was rumored that Pula was headed for Sony Pictures. However, Pula's long-standing friendship with Disney honcho Joe Roth landed him inside Mickey's multi-million-dollar mouse club. And back to you, John.
Well, stay with us and we'll be right back with some closing comments.
You always have to be in control. When you're going out to a club and you're drinking or whatever it is, you always have to be in control. In control, in control, in control.
Respect yourself, protect yourself.
I didn't understand my girlfriends growing up. I'm in love, and it was a different guy every 3 weeks. I didn't understand that. I don't look back and regret ever not sleeping with someone. I know in the long run I'm going to be much better off.
Respect yourself, protect yourself.
If you've had a sexually transmitted disease like gonorrhea, herpes, or syphilis, listen. What you were doing that exposed you to that disease could also expose you to the AIDS virus. You're living proof that a sexually transmitted disease can happen. Please don't prove it again.
Find out more about HIV, the virus that causes AIDS.
Diversity Coffee Shop and Community Achievement Network are working together to provide clients of Red Rock Behavioral Health Center a brighter, happier, and holiday season. A Christmas tree is set up at Diversity Coffee Shop as well as other places around town like, excuse me guys, the United Life Church, also at William David's Hair Salon, Wall Bargains in Midwest City, Garden Ridge. These various places have Christmas trees that are set up that are decorated with ornaments, each listing different needs that these clients have. If you would like to donate to this cause, come by the coffee shop or one of these places, remove an ornament from the tree, and place your gift and the ornament in the box decorated by the tree. It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to give back to our community and to those in need.
Sounds like a wonderful idea. Love that idea. Also, I want to mention that last month the Off AIDS fundraiser on Halloween raised over $15,000. Fantastic job. And again, a reminder that all the proceeds go to local AIDS support systems here in Oklahoma City. Before, when it was DIFA, some of it would go out, a percentage would go out of the state into a national fund, and so now all of this stays in our state, more money for the community, which is fantastic. I also thought this was interesting. The Wake Forest Baptist Church in North Carolina voted last week to allow same-sex marriages.
Yay!
And North Carolina and the Wake Forest Baptist Church. That's going to be interesting. And something...
they're not a member of the Southern Baptist Convention, are they?
We don't know. Didn't hear about that. And also, many of you may have heard on the CNN last week that researchers say they have performed an experimental technique that have removed the AIDS virus in 3 men. We'll hope to bring you, I'm sure Desmond in the Health News may bring you some follow-up to that in the weeks to come. Chuck, you're going to be in a show coming up here next week. Tell us about it.
Actually, I have 2 holiday operas that I'm in. It'll be December 4th, 5th, and 6th, Hansel and Gretel. I'll be the father in Hansel and Gretel, and it is the 4th at 7 o'clock at the Sooner Theater in Norman. And then the 5th and 6th will be A Mall in the Night Visitors, which is...
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a very cute opera.
Very nice.
Very touching, moving. A lot of people cry when they see the show. I'm excited about it. Saturday at 8 o'clock, Sooner Theater, and Sunday at 3 o'clock at the Sooner Theater.
We'll have to come to that. Good luck. Break a leg.
Yeah, have a nice day.
Again, we encourage you to call into our talkback line, and we welcome your comments each week. We really have heard them, every week, and just it's helped us to make the show better, and it continues to do so. We appreciate your input, and again, we do encourage you to pay attention to the community bulletin board at the end of the show for all the information that we have talked about during not only this show, but in previous shows.
Well, and those of you, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And those of you who would like to come out and have some dinner at Diversity Coffee Shop at 7 o'clock, I know that's what we're doing right now, is watching the show at 7, but if you'd like to come out afterwards for the festivities and fun and coffee, you're welcome.
And most of all, I just hope you and your family have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and we all need to be thankful for what we have here in the community. We have a very strong community if we all pull together and work together. Again, happy Thanksgiving from all of us to you, to your family. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.